Hello?
Oh, see, that sound.
Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message. You hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk who's will be a quiet say what? A dear sir.
Besides, friend, I'm so young. You are not testing messages here. And the office also. I'm trying to tell you, man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy manu, and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Yinaso, ye be, Frey 0240 333 111 and NASA 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool on me see? Me want to be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fashion yala shit?
Me out with that. It is the 6th day of October 2020. Good afternoon to you wherever you are and welcome to Pan-African Television News. We're broadcasting across 32 African countries via satellite. My name is Abban. Now to our top story. In the next 1 hour, we will be speaking to Care Ghana as they raise calls to political actors in Ghana to reject EC's plans to have electronic transmission for the December post-electoral results. And they'll be telling us why. Also, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to file his nomination as the Electoral Commission to contest the presidential election come December 7th. Our correspondent is on standby to give us more details on that. And we'll cross over to our regional correspondent as they bring us updates for day 2 of reopening of DHS and SHS2 students. In business, closure dates for nominations for 2nd Ghana Cocoa Awards is on 16th October. This and many other more stories coming up shortly, including international and entertainment. My colleague Michael Echiboisako will also be bringing us updates on sports. My name, as usual, is Abban. Now the news in detail. Now on election focus, a civil society organization, Care Ghana, has in the news released asked all stakeholders and political parties in Ghana to reject attempts by the Electoral Commission to transmit elections results electronically for the upcoming December 7th polls. Now, according to them, the transmission of results manually would rather ease challenges and difficulties associated with related issues. I beg your pardon. Now let's go on the phone lines and speak to the Executive Secretary of Care Ghana, who is the person of David Kumi-Addo. Hello, David Kumi-Addo, if you can hear me. Good afternoon to you and welcome to Pan-African News.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, first of all, what gives you the impression that the Electoral Commission is seeking to transmit this year's election electronically?
Thank you very much. Well, our topic are telling us that this is the intention of the Electoral Commission. And we trust ourselves that much because a lot of the predictions they've made or the information they've shared with us has come true. So we have no cause to doubt them when we have this information. So our sources have been very, very credible in giving us information on this particular information.
What are some of the information that they've shared with you? Kindly share with us.
Okay. The intention of the Electoral Commission is to use electronic to transmit the election results. Now, the challenge we are having with this many countries who've had a lot of challenges with this particular system. And it has proven not trustworthy. If you can remember, the 2016 election in November in the US, a lot of Americans have believed that the system they used was hacked. That is how come Donald Trump was pronounced as the president for the winner of the election, which many of them believe he wasn't. Now, there are many other African countries who also have similar examples. We can make mention of Kenya, we can make mention of Ivory Coast, and even Ghana here, our own country. Now, in Kenya, in 2013, the similar challenges that we are experiencing today, they experience the same challenge. And I am even surprised that knowing they are having this kind of knowledge, the Electoral Commission wants to move into this particular system. Now, most of the challenges that normally are associated with this particular system are that the Electoral Commission needs over 33,000 gadgets. These gadgets, software must be installed on all of these gadgets. Now, it is not all the polling stations across the country that you can have proper network, or maybe there's any network at all. So you realize that there are lots of challenges. Now, we don't even have enough time for the Electoral Commission to say, okay, this is what I want to use, and then I'm going to test. If you're unable to test around your system, then it means that you will not be able to appreciate the challenges that are associated with the system. In order for you to say that these are the loopholes that are with the system, therefore, let me close the loopholes so that in going into this election, we will not have these challenges. Because if you're not careful, what will happen is that people who have interest to rig the election, they will bring in IT experts who know how to hack this particular system. And in the process of transmission, what they will do is that they will hack into the system, intercept it, change the figures, and let them follow into the strong room or maybe the head office of the Electoral Commission. And then what we envisage may happen is that every polling center or every polling station, there are representatives of the political parties there. Now, they do the counting there and then certify those particular results by appending their signatures to the results before they go to the policing centers. When they go to the policing centers, same things are done. And then you know who won the election at the policing centers. So imagine that in the process of transmitting the results from the policing center to the Electoral Commission strong room or the head office, and then this system or the process is truncated at a point, and then the results are changed. Let me give you a simple example. For example, these two political parties are the leading political parties in this country, NPP, NDC.
Yep.
And then these, let's say, NDC presidential candidates, President Mahama had about, let's say, 275,000 from a particular presidential center. And then the NPP also gets like 1,000. That is our current president, Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, gets 1,000. And then upon the process of transmitting this particular result to the Electoral Commission head office or the strong room, it is truncated, intercepted, and then the result to what the NDC got has been changed and given to the NPP, and then NPP's one has been given to the NDC, and then goes to the strong room. Now, what is before the leadership of the Electoral Commission is what has come to them, which may be very different to the actual situation on the ground where the result was being transferred from or transmitted. Now, we know that, for example, John Mahama won here, maybe I also was one, for example, and then by the time the result gets to the Electoral Commission, it's Nana that has won. What do you think may occur in this country? Many of such situations have occurred in our registration exercise. We went to this registration exercise and look at the anomalies that we are experiencing. Because these systems are new, the Electoral Commission didn't have enough time to be able to ascertain or maybe get to know the challenges that will come or will arise with this particular system. And then we fast forward to this situation. 7 December is just a day election. It is not a 38 days or 39 days registration side.
Right.
Why, if you experience a challenge, you may say that, okay, we will have some time to resolve them. It is not possible.
Right.
It's not possible.
Right. Right. Now, with all the information or all the explanations you've given us, it's extremely progressive. Now, how do we ensure that we move away from the electronic transmission, given the fact that you are a civil society organization, advocately, vehemently, so that we do not get to this point?
Okay, that is why we are calling on all political parties and key stakeholders in this election that we have to start speaking against the use of electronic transmission of results now. And to indicate to the Electoral Commission that that will not be the best option for us. We have used a system that has been proven, tested and proven that these systems are systems that we know very well and we have used over the time. And that is the manual transmission of results. Now that we don't have enough time to be able to set run the transmission of the electronic transmission of results, let us not go and find problems for ourselves. Let us resort to the old ways we have transmitted our results in order for us to improve. Because if you look at this election, it promises to be a key encounter between the NDC and NPP. The reason we are saying this is that this candidate, this leadership of the political parties, they have set their first term already. And they are all fighting to have a second term. Looking at the president of our church, for example, I want to West London. We all saw the president of church there. We cannot sit aloof to watch such occurrence again in the mass scale in this country. Our democracy is a pleasant democracy. We have enjoyed relative peace over the time.
Okay.
We don't want anything to destroy that particular peace. That's why we are speaking against this particular thing. So what we're trying to do right now is to save a dangerous situation from happening.
No, finally, before I let you go, now we can all appreciate that the Electoral Commission is an independent, body on its own. I mean, the Constitution spells it out clearly that the Electoral Commission is independent of its activities and actions. Now, the Electoral Commission, as a body being independent, comes out to tell us that, listen, this is the operations that I think, if performed, would inure benefits to the electorate in our country. How then do we stop the Electoral Commission from doing that? Because, I mean, clearly, we saw what happened at the voter registration exercise. Some political actors, some civil society organizations, political parties came together to advocate against the new voter registration exercise. But it proved to be futile.
You see, the conduct of the Electoral Commission is very unfortunate. It is about time the Electoral Commission realizes that it is not working for itself. It is working in the interest of the nation. So this is the time that you need to listen, because everything you have been told that is in Abban has proven to be very true. Because of the chronology of events. Now, we are calling on the political parties to speak. We are calling on the political parties to engage the Electoral Commission. We know that these two political parties, NPP and NDC, are the biggest political party in the country. Led by the political party that is governing this country. It's very important. The idea can also use us to speak against this particular thing. Because if we are unified in our results, in getting the Electoral Commission to listen to our call, I believe that the Electoral Commission will have no option than to do that. We must speak against this thing to avoid a dying situation, a very dying situation. Because if we don't take care, we are going to travel the path of no return, which we all may regret tomorrow.
All right, thank you very much.
As we are speaking, we are calling on all the political parties and calling on the entire nation to rise up to this success. Because in 2016, the Electoral Commission introduced this electronic transmission. And the same Electoral Commission came to tell us that the system has been compromised. Therefore, it is reverting to the manual transmission of election results. So it is better for us to be on the safer side than to want to take something which will create a problem for all of us.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your time. We have been speaking to David Kumi Ado, who happens to be the Executive Secretary of Care Ghana. We'll go for a quick commercial break. We'll join you shortly. Stay with us.
good day. Every day. Every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
So welcome back from that quick commercial break. You're still watching Pan-African news right here on Pan-African Television. We're live on Facebook at Pan-African Television and of course on YouTube at Pan-African Television. Do connect with us. Now away from that, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is expected to file his nominations today at the office of the Electoral Commission. This will be his fourth attempt after previous outing in 2018, 2012 and 2016. Four political parties are also expected to file theirs in readiness and preparedness for this year's election slated for December 7th, 2020. Now I've been joined on the phone lines by my colleague Amwa Gregory to update us on exactly what is happening at the EC office. If you can hear me, Amwa Gregory, good afternoon to you.
Okay, good afternoon, Ivan.
Yes, how is it?
Okay, the EC headquarters was very colorful this morning.
Okay.
The whole process with an independent candidate, Mr. Samohoka. He came with Jacob Otenyebwa at around 10:51 a.m.
Okay.
to file their presidential nomination.
So this is an independent candidate.
11 a.m. this morning.
So
the president of Ghana, and his running mate, and the vice president of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and after some party executives of the NCT came to the EC headquarters to file their nomination.
Okay.
And so when they got to the IPAC room, the EC commissioner, Madam Jane Mensah, initially took them through the modality for this year's filing of presidential nomination. So she began by saying that this year, two things have been tasked by the commission to ensure that the process goes on smoothly.
Okay.
So these things are the legal team who have to ensure that the documents, which include your ID card,
okay,
your documents, your tax obligation, and that of your supporters, all these things that you have filed are correct and are as provided by law. And then also there's an IT team which will also ensure that all these people who have brought the various documents are verifiable on the database of the Republic of Ghana. So this was what happened initially. So after the president filed his nomination, he also charged the EC that this time they should not the determinants of who should win the election, but they should be referees, and that they should ensure that anything they do is within the confines of the law. He also charged them that they should be free and fair in organizing the elections. Then the president also asked some questions about how the delegates have been changed and altered this year. And the commission also took him through how these things can ensure that this year's process goes on smoothly. The EC commission told the president that this time the date for filing of your forms is 5 days as compared to 2 days earlier. This is to ensure that anyone who files any form has ample time to go through anything before it is submitted, so that the controversies that always surround this process will not occur again this year.
Okay, all right. So before I let you go, what other political actors do you see that aside the president and his vice, and of course the general secretary? What other political actors do you see there as well?
Okay, I also saw the chief of staff.
Okay.
I also saw the honorable minister in charge of finance, Honorable Ken Oboyata. I also saw John Wade. So there were lots of them in there.
Okay. Now with regards to the filing fee of 100,000 for presidential candidates, we were in this country where we had a lot of controversy surrounding it. We had some political actors within some specific political parties advocating vehemently against that filing fee. Well, has the EC made any comment with regards to the filing fee?
Okay, so the president spoke to the media after everything, and he told the EC that even though the issue of presidency is a serious business. The issue should try hard to come down so that anyone who is qualified but cannot afford the fees can also do so. So the president called on the EC to off the cost of the filing fee so that at least people who are qualified enough can file for their nomination, contest for the office.
So with regards to the other political parties that are also supposed to come file their nomination, have you seen, aside the independent candidates and the current president of the Republic of Ghana, have you seen any other political parties coming through to also do the filing?
Okay, so the only other party I expected is Madam Ekriadonko. So far, she's the only one. But she was even supposed to come before the president.
Okay.
But we've been waiting for her. She's still on it too. The president has come and he's done with the process and he's gone. But we are still waiting for Madam Ekriadonko. Okay,
all right. Thank you very much, Gregory Amwa. Gregory Amwa is a reporter who happens to be in the office of the Electoral Commission, giving us updates with regards to the filing nomination. As and when we get other information with regards to other political parties coming through to file, we'll bring that update to you. Now, away from that, founder and leader of the Homeland Study Group, Charles Kwame Kujozi, alias Papa V, has denied any involvement of his group in the recent attack on 2 police stations and other properties in the Volta region. In an address on Facebook, he insisted the group was peaceful and silent to establishment, and called on government of Ghana to sit up and dialogue for the resolution of the matter, which the group has lawfully pursued since its establishment. Kwame Oscar Kaba filed this report.
The Homeland Study Group founder and leader expressed worry over how some people, including politicians, tag them as violent group.
It has come to my attention also that over a week or 2 ago, there was the blocking of roads, a sort of demonstration, a sort of mayhem, short one, in the land. The Homeland Study Group Foundation is a peaceful group, a peace-loving group, a peace-generating group, a peacemaking group, which started since 1994. The group had never been arrested anywhere, taken to court and found guilty. Never. We have made this clearly known to the whole world. That is the group that is helping us in the independent affair. They investigated and found us to be peace-loving indeed. And so when this sort of incident happened in the country, and we are being labeled with it, we are being smeared with it, that's good from Europe, wrote online, telling the whole world that the Homeland Study Group Foundation isn't like that.
He dispelled rumors concerning his disappearance, adding that meetings with security and other stakeholders in the light of discussing lawful demands to negotiate possible separatists on renewal of the terms of Western turbulent partnership with present-day Ghana.
I am wanted here and there throughout the land. I remember I once went to a meeting, we closed, and I went to another meeting, attending meetings here and there, peaceful meetings here and there. At the end of one, I was informed that several soldiers, heavily armed policemen, were chasing after my name. Rumors even had that I should be brought either alive or dead. I have made myself available to the police, to the security agents on several occasions. But this time, I don't know why guns were held, young men holding guns, young men were 1,000 of them, looking for an 85-year-old man. I don't know what they have in mind about me. I have to hide my face a little. This is where I have not been for a few.
He further entreated government to tell the public the truth about their engagement to reach agreement on the deal with the Homeland Study Group on the Western Togoland Territories Agreement and called for a roundtable discussion.
That our people, the government of Ghana, should take that letter published online from the young people seriously and go by it. I have on 2 occasions written to the government of Ghana, the president, to let us sit down. I have this matter discussed at the roundtable conference. No attention has been paid to the letter. I wrote again to Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament, to pick this matter up. The place where our members of Parliament are, they did not mind the letter and me. And now this sort of things are happening. Nobody should label the Homeland Study Group Foundation with this kind of thing. We have to keep away from it. We did not, and we are not like that.
He finally condemned the attacks by some unknown group of people and called on the security agencies to step up their efforts in protecting life and properties on one hand and to desist from intimidating areas and people living in the present-day Volta region during this election period.
Intensify its level of investigation and get people who do things and not just suspect, arresting people, firing people, harming people, locking people up. No. Investigate. Find out if it is above your level. The world is there. There are investigation organizations here and there in the world. Bring one to help you. We of the Homeland Study Group Foundation, founded in 1994, some 26, 25 years ago, are not violent.
Now let's do some health story. Now, cerebral palsy, CP, is a group of disorder that affects a person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. The disease, which is known as CP, is the most common motor disability in childhood. There's more to the story.
Cerebral means having to do with the brain. Palsy means weakness or problems with using the muscles. CP is caused by abnormal brain development or damage to the developing brain that affects a person's ability to control his or her muscle. Every year, October 6th is marked as the World Cerebral Palsy Day. It is observed in order to highlight the achievement and life of the people living with CP. In cerebral palsy, a part of the brain which controls motor movement gets damaged. It is a permanent disability and there's no known cure for the condition. Around 17 million people in the world have this condition. There are around 350 million family members who are closely related or caregivers of people with cerebral palsy. Most people are born with the condition, but it can also happen later due to infections such as meningitis, encephalitis, or due to any other reason which can cause damage to the brain during the early months or years of life. In children, it becomes difficult for them to either walk, sit, or stand after having CP. Children with this condition can also experience seizure or change in their behavior. The sleeping pattern of such children might also get affected. As per the data, 1 in 2 children with cerebral palsy suffer from an intellectual disability, while 1 child in 4 cannot walk. To overcome the difficulties that come with CP, many children need to learn functional skills. They need long-term rehabilitation so as to prevent secondary disabilities and to enable them to participate in daily activities. Such interventions can improve the quality of life of children living with CP, but providing long-term rehabilitation to people with CP is not an easy task, as the total cost requirement for the same is high. World Cerebral Palsy Day 2020 aims to increase awareness about the condition and ensure that children with the condition can attain the same rights as others.
All right, so now let's do a crossover and speak to our correspondent, regional correspondent in the northern region and the OT region to give us an update on the reopening of JHS2 and SHS2 students. Good afternoon, Majid Abdul.
Good afternoon.
Yes, how are we doing?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so first of all, paint to us a picture of the reopening of DHS2 and SHS2 in the northern region.
Yeah, this morning I went to about 3 schools in Tamale here.
Okay.
And the students were very happy returning to school. As well as the masters.
Okay.
But the only problem was like the provision of the PPEs.
Okay.
Most schools wasn't having it, and according to them, the items were still in the hands of the educational directorate in the northern region here.
Okay. Okay. But have you been?
The masters find it difficult to go by the protocol.
Okay, but were you able to find out from them if indeed they've been able to speak to the Northern Regional education directives as to why the PPEs have not been able to be given to these students?
Yeah, that they spoke to them, but like the message that the educational directorate gave to them was they are still on the way to distribute it to them.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time. So so that was our Northern Regional correspondent Abdul Majid giving us a brief, happenings in the 3 schools that he visited with regards to the reopening of SHS. Now we'll move on to Somali Abdul, who happens to be the OT Regional correspondent. Somali, if you can hear me, good afternoon. Hello, Somali, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hello, Somali.
Hello.
Yeah, Somali, good afternoon. If you can hear me, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, sir.
All right, Somali, with regards to the reopening of the secondary schools and junior high schools, for the students, give us a feed of the euphoria around these schools within the OT region.
Okay. In the OT region here, the schools are reopened, as the government said, 5th October, which was yesterday. The schools were opened. And the OT region here, I had an interview with the OT Regional Education Director. That was on Sunday. She told me all the teachers and then the students are aware of the reopening of the school. And then she also made a mention of the government provide them with PPE for the COVID-19 protocol. And then she also made mention of the medical packet, which was distributed in all the schools.
All right, thank you very much, Somali Abdul. Now, Somali Abdul is the OT regional correspondent for the OT region, giving us a breakdown of the feed within certain schools or particular schools in the OT region. That's all we have for our local stories. Our next is business. Let's do some business story. Now, over 30 awards category are up for grabs as nomination for the second Ghana Cocoa Awards are set to end on October 16, 2020 to recognize and celebrate excellence. Now, the Ghana Cocoa Awards was instituted to shine the limelight on personalities and success stories in the country's cocoa industry. The scheme is expected to honor the true heroes behind Ghana's economic background. There's more to this.
Kojo Hayford said 2020 has been a particularly difficult year globally as the world continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. He indicated that, though the year has been difficult, the concerted response of the cocoa industry in Ghana and the sheer resilience demonstrated it's worth celebrating. Mr. Kojo Hayford added that the advisory and awarding board chaired by global cocoa and chocolate industry scholar Professor Emmanuel Ohene Afuakwa has endorsed them to honor 5 organizations that stood out in the COVID-19 response effort with the COVID-19 hero. Aside from the 5, there are over 30 other competitive and honorary award category open to all personalities, companies, and organizations in various sections of the cocoa value chain. They include sustainability and NGO, agro-input, internal marketing, technology. They include sustainability and NGO, agro-input, internal marketing, technology, haulage and logistics, processing, manufacturing, artisanal value addition, consumption promotion, tourism and media. According to Mr. Kojo Hayford, honoring the hard-working and true heroes of Ghana's economic backbone is very relevant in appreciating their contribution to the economy and national development and to spur them on for even greater achievements. The founder of the Cocoa Industry Award Scheme was full of praise for the sector regulator, Ghana Cocoa Board, for striving to maintain the production of premium quality cocoa beans for which Ghana is celebrated all over the world. Cocoa, Ghana's leading cash crop, contributes some $2 billion annually to the economy of Ghana, and this is made possible by the combined effort of cocoa farmers and a complex chain of hard-working non-farming sectors. Ghana Cocoa Awards 2020 is scheduled for Saturday, November 14 at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City.
All right, so let's do some more business stories. Now, the Ghana International Bank Public Limited Company (PLC) has announced the appointment of Bafo Ohene Abankwa as head of client coverage for its African business. Prior to his appointment, he was the head of client coverage for West Africa and drove growth in the bank's business in the sub-Saharan region, particularly with financial institutions.
He will be responsible for managing the African coverage team and is tasked with leading the growth into new markets in East and Central Africa, whilst ensuring the continuous delivery of value to the existing client portfolio in West Africa. He had previously worked with Republic Bank Ghana Limited, EcoBank Ghana Limited, and Trust Bank Limited. His banking career started with Standard Chartered Bank, where he was recruited as a management trainee. He is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants (ACCA) and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. He is an alumnus of the University of Ghana, where he studied for an MBA in finance as well as a BSc in biochemistry and nutrition. Ghana International Bank PLC is a Ghanaian-owned bank based in London and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulation Authority. The bank focuses mainly on correspondent and corporate banking, providing treasury services, international trade finance, lending and transaction banking services. Its operations are geared to supporting the economies of Ghana in particular and the continent of Africa in general.
So that's all for business. Up next is international stories. Now let's do some international stories. Now, US-based aluminium giant Alcoa has decided to close down its San Ciprian smelter. The company's sales negotiation with the UK-based Liberty Group also failed last week.
Workers of US-based aluminium giant Alcoa's smelter in San Ciprian, Spain, have intensified their protest against the closure of the plant. On October 4 Sunday, hundreds of workers at the plant and auxiliaries related to the plant started an indefinite strike demanding job protection and government intervention to continue on production. The jobs of more than 500 workers are at stake after Alcoa decided to close its smelter at San Ciprian, citing huge losses. The crisis faced by the workers intensified on September 27 when the negotiations between Alcoa and UK-based Liberty House for the sale of the plant failed. Alcoa's San Ciprian factory employs about 1,100 workers, 500 of whom are involved in the production of alumina and over 600 in the production of primary aluminium. The company has decided to lay off 534 workers at the primary aluminium plant, which is likely to affect many hundreds of secondary jobs as well. As per Alberto Villalta, head of the steel and basic metal sector of the Federation of Industry of the General Union of Workers, closures and relocations are a consequence of globalization. Multinationals are looking for cheaper places to produce, but also for the lack of industrial policies, the absence of measures, or a strategy to retain multinationals and strengthen industrial zones. The problem of aluminium is different. It is a strategic product, a vital element for the future, and Spain cannot afford the luxury of not having aluminium production. Alcoa already closed last year 2 plants in Avals and Coruna, and these would be the last plants that we have in our country for the production of primary aluminium, basic for different sectors such as the automotive and the aeronautical sector, etc., he added. Nestor Rego from the Galician Nationalist Bloc has demanded a decision from the Spanish government to start public intervention for the nationalization of the plant. The interest of a multinational such as Alcoa cannot be above the interest of the Galician people and the maintenance of economic activity and jobs, he stressed. Alcoa's decision to close its smelters in Avals and La Coruna were also met with large protests by the workers of both the plants.
So hundreds of protesters demanding a rerun in the recent held parliamentary election in Kazakhstan stormed government's building in the capital Bishkek on Tuesday, October 6th. Some of the protesters also freed former President Ambazbek Atambayev from one of those buildings. Now there's more to the story.
Out of 16 political parties contesting Sunday's parliamentary elections, only 4 could cross the official cutoff of 7% votes to qualify for the seats in the parliament. The protesters overcame the heavy use of force by the security forces, which used water cannons, tear gas and stun grenades to disperse them. In the police action, 1 person has reportedly been killed and more than 600 were injured. The protesters stormed the White House and occupied the presidential office. The building also houses the country's parliament. The building housing the National Security Committee, where Amazbek, in office from 2011 to 2017, was serving his 11-year sentence, was stormed later by the protesters. Amazbek was arrested last year and convicted for corruption in June 2020. Elections for the Kyrgyzstan parliament were held on Sunday, October 4. The final results were announced on Monday, in which the 2 pro-president parties, Biremdik and Kyrgyzstan, got more than half of the votes. Only 4 parties out of the 16 were able to make the official cut of 7% 50% vote. 3 of these 4 parties are considered to be close to the president. An international monitoring mission organized by the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe suspected large-scale voting buying during the elections, which led 12 opposition parties to declare what they would not recognize the results. They joined the protesters demanding a rerun on Monday. President Sonobey announced after the meeting with the opposition leaders that he is ready to annul Sunday's elections if necessary. Politics in the Central Asian Republic of Kyrgyzstan is marred with large-scale corruption and political unrest following. The domination of certain families in the country's politics has been increasingly challenged by the people from time to time. In recent months, failure to deal with the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in the country's economy has created fresh possibilities for popular unrest.
That's all we have for you on international front. Credit to the People's Dispatch for our international stories. Michael Chibo is on standby with the latest happenings in sports.
Let's do some sports on the Media News. My name is Michael Mchubosiako, and let's begin with some local football news. And the Ghana Football Association has appointed FIFA instructor Bernard Lippert as the new technical director of the FA for the next 2 years, following the process which saw over hundreds of coaches applying for the job. There is more to this in the following report.
As a technical director, he will head the technical directorate and formulate guidelines, strategies and policies for training and technical development of coaches of the FA. The former footballer and coaches trainer will also be required to build the capacity of the technical directorate of the association and will arrange courses and conferences for match officials, team officials, instructors, trainers and administrators. Lippert is also expected to assess the training programs of the national teams, examine reports on players, coaches, welfare officers, analyze international matches and advise the FA. The 55-year-old chairman until his appointment was the technical director of the Association of Football Federation of Azerbaijan, a position he occupied for 12 years.
Still in the world of football, Ghana international midfielder Thomas Partey completed a deadline day transfer to London-based Arsenal for a period of 4 years with an option of an additional year. The Ghana's interest in the former Atletico star plouded on through the entire transfer window, but parties finally agreed to a move to Arsenal after the club was able to trigger its release clause of £45 million.
Ghanaians and Arsenal fans were thrown into frenzy when the official Arsenal Twitter page announced their latest acquisition to bolster their midfield ranks. Partey signed for Atletico Madrid in 2013 and after loan spells with Mallorca and Almeria, returned to his parents' club where he became an important figure in Diego Simeone's side, establishing his status as one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. His £45 million transfer fee and £250,000 per week wage makes him the highest paid and most expensive Ghanaian footballer in football history. he would look set to repay that fate reposed in him by providing a goodbye for the Londoners. The 27-year-old featured 160 times for Atletico Madrid, scoring 15 goals in the process.
Let's finally end in the world of tennis and victory over world number 16 Karim Chakhanov, an opponent who defeated him in the 2018 Paris Masters final. Hans Djokovic, a meeting with Pablo Carreño Busta, who defeated Daniel Altmaier 6-2, 7-5, 6-2 to reach the quarterfinals of the ongoing French Open 2020.
Both players were pre-tournament favorites and appear to be on a collision course to face off in the final after Nadal reached the quarterfinals on Sunday. The Spaniard is also yet to drop a set at this year's French Open. On Djokovic's side of the men's draw, Stefanos Tsitsipas and Andrei Rublev also booked places in the quarterfinals with respective victories over Grigor Dimitrov and Martin. Carreño Busta is someone that is obviously very solid, Djokovic said of his quarterfinal opponent. I think he actually improved his game in the last 12 to 15 months on all the surfaces. I mean, playing semi-finals in the US Open proves it. I know he has done it before. He is climbing the rankings again, he added. His latest victory also means Djokovic will contest his 14th quarterfinal in Paris, a record he shares with Rafael Nadal.
Congratulations to Thomas Partey and all Arsenal fans. My name is Michael Nchubosiako. That is all I have for you by way of sports on that media news. Next is the entertainment news. Stay tuned.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle, good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
That was the latest in sports coming from my colleague Michael Nchubosiako. Now let's do some entertainment stories. Now Ghana's multiple award-winning Afropop artist Kweku J.C. Gatti, known in showbiz circles as J. Gatti, has urged fellow Africans to embrace their culture and its names with his latest song. Now, according to him, the Do Good produced record is a deep song which is tailored towards the Beyond Returned initiative.
It's Do Good, Do Good, Do Good.
Titled Kweku, the concept behind the slow-tempo Afropop jam is tied to Akan legend Kweku Anansi's superior knowledge, wisdom, and cunning nature. The song was inspired by his late father, Dr. Kweku Gathi, and also dedicated to him for inculcating African culture in the two-time Vodafone Ghana Music Awards winner. This is not the first time the singer and songwriter has honored his father in this costume. When his father passed away in 2017 at the age of 77, Jegati honored him on his first anniversary with a song titled To Love a Father. But this time, he is putting into practice what his father taught him and will continue to project Ghanaian culture onto Westerners call their children African names. Kweku brings to bear the attributes associated with the name and further shines light on the need to bear such local names due to their powerful meanings. The song is accompanied by visuals which exhibit African fashion and cultural settings.
That's all for our international entertainment front. I beg your pardon. And that's how we wrap up on today's edition of Midday News. But before we leave, let's take a look at our top stories. Care Ghana, a civil society organization, raised calls to political parties in Ghana to reject EC's plan to have electronic transmission for the December 7th polls electoral results. Also, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo files his nomination at the EC office to contest the presidential elections come December 7th. And in business, closure date for nomination for the second Ghana Cocoa Award is on the 16th of October. So this is how we wrap up today's edition of Pan-African News. My name is Ivan Banks. But up next is Youth Empowerment with which one I'm first Sapon. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye for now.